having a look at Beetlebum by Blur. The guitarist Graham Coxon came up with this brilliant riff, which is not really like any other riff that I can think of, the main riff of the song, and it's also the riff that goes through the verses. And the way he plays it is a little bit different to how you'd expect. When you first hear the song, when I first heard the song and worked out what I thought he was doing, it's slightly different sort of fingering to what I've now seen him play live. So what it is you're using, well, this is how he does it. He uses his second finger and plays the 12th fret on the E string, and then slides away like this and goes to an A power chord. Now an A power chord normally you would play like this. So the way most people would play this would be, or maybe that finger. What he actually plays is this second finger, and then he goes to this way of playing an A bar chord. Now this is the sort of the Hendrix way, I suppose, where you have your thumb over the top. So if you're familiar with that major bar chord shape for an A, it's basically the same notes, but instead of barring, you just cover two strings and your thumb covers this one, and you've got exactly the same notes as the bar chord. It's exactly the same. And Graham Coxon uses this shape a lot rather than an actual bar chord. So what he's doing is playing this 12th fret note, sliding down, going to that shape, but really only hitting the power chord part of it. So it depends how accurate you want to be. You could just play it like this. If you want to be exactly the same as the way he's playing it, then so that's how I'll do it for this video. So there's 4 of those in the verse. The intro is several of those riffs. I think there's probably 8 before the vocal comes in, and then the vocal starts. So the verse starts, and we do 4 more of those. So it's and a tip for playing this riff up to speed is to look when you're on the chord here. Look at the note that you've got to go to next. So don't look at the chord, look here, and then your finger will go to there, and it probably won't go too far. That will help with getting the speed. So we've got 4 of those. Then we do a very similar thing, but instead of the A chord, it's a C, which is here. Same shape. Still sliding from the 12th, from the E. So there's 4 on each of those. Then we go to do a similar thing, but to an F chord, which is right down here. And again, it's based on this bar chord. But this time, instead of sliding from 12, we slide from 7, which is the B. And then we do the same thing, but to a G chord. Still sliding from the B, and G's there. On this one we only play 3 of them. So we've got 4 of these, 4 of these, 4 of these, and 3 of these. And the reason why there's only 3 on the G is because for the last bar where you'd expect there to be another G, he plays a B flat. But on the B flat we don't do the riff, it's just the chord played 4 times. Like that. So I'll play that whole sequence for you. That all repeats. This is each verse in the song. I think it's 2 verses in the song. they're both the same. So we play that sequence twice, and on the end, we've just finished the B flat here. We go to an A, which is just back 1 fret, and play just downstrokes again. Okay, so that was 9 downstrokes, the last one stops dead. And you might notice there what I'm doing with this hand is kind of squeezing the neck as the pick comes down. So that's muted at the moment. I'm pushing my fingers on just in time for the pick hitting the strings. And as soon as the picks hit all of the strings, I'm relaxing my hand again to get the chord to stop dead. Rather than... So it's... Then we go to the chorus. Now the chorus is more sort of standard chords to begin with. He goes to a C, normal C chord, B minor. Now B minor is a bar chord, but it's just a normal bar chord. A minor. And then F. And again he plays the F with the sort of Hendrix shape. A minor again, F again, and then F minor. And when you're on this shape, to change to an F minor, you take this finger away and make sure the first finger now covers 3 strings. So it's basically this chord, but played like that. And that sequence is played twice. So C, B minor, A minor, F, A minor, F, F minor, twice. And then on the end, we just play a C just once. Which just rings for 4 beats. Okay, so the only other thing to mention here is that some of these chords are pushed. And pushes are, if you don't already know what they are, there's something which affect the rhythm of how you play something, where when you play a chord change, instead of playing on the beat and changing on the beat, you change before the beat. Usually, like if I'm tapping, usually the chord change would come, instead of now, it would come now as my hand's up in the air. So it's in between the beats. And the ones that are pushed are both of the F chords and the B minor. So if I just play the sequence very simply with this hand, and I'll push those chords and just see if you can hear that's what's happening. So those chords will push, the B minor and both of the Fs. If you were to tap along with me when I was playing that, or tap your foot or something, you'd find that on those 3 chords, you'd be tapping after I'd played the chord. And then after the first chorus, there's a bridge, and the bridge is just the half of the intro, just 4 of the main riff to the A. And then the vocal comes in, it's the next verse. Next verse is identical. And then the next chorus is also the same as the previous chorus. The only slight difference, if you want to be really accurate, just leading into the chorus, at the end of the second verse where we play that A chord, it does this. And that's a muted down up. And it's just into that first C chord of the chorus. So at the end of the second verse, into the second choruses. So that was just that. quite a nice little touch to sort of add in if you can. And that's most of the song. The only other section is after the second chorus, it goes into the outro sequence. Now, the main sort of lead guitar part changes to a little lead line here. So the Graham Coxon part is this. You flatten your first finger over 5th fret, 2 strings, 1st and 2nd strings, and play 1st, then 2nd. Leave your finger where it is. Bend the 3rd string at the 7th fret, but at the same time catch the 2nd string. You may have done this before in songs. A lot of solos, again, it's a Hendrix thing, and other people do it as well. And it's where you play the bend, but at the same time you play the next string. And the note that this finger's playing here is the same note that bend is trying to reach. So the bend is going to here. This finger's already on that note. So you get this clashing sound until the bend reaches that note. So it's... And then on the end of that we play 5, 3rd string, 5, 5, and then that slides to 4 and then to 2. So you pick it twice, and then play the 4th string open. It's quite a weird little lead line this, but it's effective. And one of the things that makes it really effective is that the chords underneath change, but he plays exactly the same lead line over each chord. And the chords, these are the ones that are played on the acoustic. I think when they do this live, Damon Albarn plays this on acoustic. And so if I just change my sound a little bit, just to clean it up a little bit. Right, so what we've got these chords, A, C, F, G and B flat. You might recognise those from the verse, because they're the same chords that are in the verse for this. A, then C, then F, G, B flat. So it's a verse sequence, but played on the acoustic in a totally different way. He plays part of a bar chord. Here's the A bar chord. But he just plays this part of it. So avoiding the low E string, but getting the 1st and 2nd strings open. So that's sort of an altered version of an A chord. And then he slides the same shape up to here. It's an altered version of a C. So now that comes from this bar chord. Same strings, 5 strings. Down here for the F, G, B flat's a bit strange. That kind of clashes a bit, but in the context of the song it works. So if I just play through that. So it's what the acoustic is playing, and that fits perfectly with this. So those two go really nicely together, and that repeats several times. I haven't counted how many, but it's a lot. And there's other sounds and noises and things coming in to build up at the end of the song, but they're the two main guitar parts that are going on. And at the end, on the very last time, you go through the sequence, and when you get to the B flat, what the guitar sounds like it's doing is 4 strums, just there's two sort of accents probably with the drums, and the main kind of sound is these two accents. Dum dum. It just stops like that. So strange ending to a strange song. But it's a great song to play. I hope you get on okay with that. Any questions, please put them below. And if you have any other songs you'd like to see lessons on, then please let me know. And if you like this one, please subscribe. Thanks.